panels. Under the motion, this house, as the first generation immigrant parents of color in a predominantly white country, will choose to live and raise children in an ethnic enclave. We are proudly propose this motion because of the several reasons. First, I'm going to say about why it is better to raise them in the ethnic enclave rather than in the other place. And the second, I'm going to say why ethnic enclave is justified. I'm going to tell you about the definition. First, the definition of this is the ethnic enclave are the communities with a high concentration of one ethnic group, maintaining a strong sense of ethnic or national identity within. We can see that here the limitation is about how the parents can leave their children and raise their children up on that place. First, what I'm going to say here, why parents will do this, because as we know that parents' role are to educate it and to protect their children for a wild life, because we know that before when they comes to the other country, when they are being a new immigrant, they should uh they should introduce the other culture, they should learn about the other culture, they should have a good socializing and others, but not all people are already prepared well to to know or to introduce with that culture itself, to socializing with that culture itself. So it's going to be really help them when they are moved to the other country, but they still in the same condition or ethnic. It will really help them because they will feel like they still like they're on their own hometown, and they will feel not different by the others because they are moved with their parents to the other country. And we know that this is the main role of the parents to educate their children and to prepare their children and to protect their children from the social intimidated, because we know that there are a lot of people do racism and so on and others. So it will really help them to avoid their children to get that situation. And the second, this is the role of the government, because we know that the government as the facilitator people who come from the another country to our country, like they can be a facilitator to build and arrange this ethnic, so they will feel not intimidated by other, but they will still safe and they can still know about how our culture is safe, and also have assimilation with their own culture itself. It also really help them to prove their to keep their nationality without forgetting their own country. And why it is better to the children also to know more about the newest country they comes by by parents, because we know that parents will filtering the new culture that they can learn, the new place for their socialization. They will go there here they will go there, because we know that the parents will really filtering which the best culture, which the best uh, soc- uh social that can help them better, they can help them better, because we know here they are not only about learning a new culture of the country, but they also learn about how they can still live with the new condition. They can still learn with the new condition, because it maybe make them shocked when they already comes to the other country which have really different culture with our. Jadi so it will really make them feel calm, because they will learn by step to get to knowing their new country. And the second is about why the ethnic and class is justified, because we know that it will create the social identity for them, because we know that some people who hard to socializing in the new place, but they should to do this, like not all people are good in the socialization, but they should do this. They are moved because there are a lot of reasons why people are being immigrant. For an example, like they are moved to the other country because civil war, or there another one, and they move because they want to get a better job or get a better career on the other country. So there are a lot of reason why people are moved to that country. And by this also, it's really hard for several people who move because because they have a reason to do that. Like they can still learn about this country culture without leaving their own country, and they will feel like they are on their hometown. And they, like for an example, like food culture, local food culture that was really different, that they need time to adaptation with the newest culture and the last culture, so it will take time. So during that, they can still learn when they are with their own ethnic, when they are with their ethnic enclave. So for an example, like an Eid Adha for a Muslim, they can still feeling have their own family, they because they can taste the food like their when they are with their own family. For example, doing like a sungkem tradition, and so on, and others doing a Devapali culture, and so on and others, and they will get easier to get the essential needs. So that's why we propose this motion. Thank you.
And gentlemen, minorities in most countries, they're being oppressed, they're being harassed, and they're being brutalized. Not only by the people or the majorities themselves, but also by officials, like for example police, ladies and gentlemen, like we can see in the US, like what just happened, like in the Black Lives Matter movement, ladies and gentlemen. Like you see policemen put those police brutalities happen to only to most of the time to black people, ladies and gentlemen, which are the minorities. And do we think it's fair that only minorities are being attacked, ladies and gentlemen? This is why we want to propose the ethnic enclaves, which are really important for minorities, ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, my first speaker has explained several things, and I'm going to add on the arguments and explain more of what my first speaker already said. So the first argument is we want to avoid racist brutalities and harassments. So, like as I said before, ladies and gentlemen, most minorities, they especially like we say in countries like in the US, where the majority of people are white, they're being harassed and they're being brutalized by not only by policemen, ladies and gentlemen, but people around them. Even though there are like there are plenty of, let's say, there are plenty of movements for anti-racism, but ladies and gentlemen, the fact is there will always be racist people in the world, especially if you're a minority, if maybe you're black, or maybe you're Latino or Chinese or Asian or even a Muslim. Especially like the fact now that there's Islamophobia in most of the countries in the West because of what happened in 9/11 and lots of other terrorist attacks, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why these innocent minorities should be protected, and that is by using these ethnic enclaves, ladies and gentlemen. So especially what we're talking about here is we as a parent of colors, we want to live and raise children for their best, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the parent nature is we want to give the best for our children. So that is why we think that this ethnic enclave is one of the best ideas, ladies and gentlemen, for the government to make for these minorities. And my second argument is these ethnic enclaves can be used for sanctuaries for these ethnic minorities. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because I want to make a little link back to the arguments from my first speaker. That is saying that the ethnic enclaves can be used to educate and protect and can be used for, to still maintain their culture. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, because the outside world is a harsh world. Like, not even the outside world, but let's say society is already a harsh thing to deal with right now. And of course, there'll always be racist people, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we want to protect those, especially our kids, our children, ladies and gentlemen, who are innocent, who don't know anything from people like those. That is why these ethnic enclaves are important, ladies and gentlemen. It is important to protect our children even before eventually we want to release them to the outside world, because the ethnic enclaves can't really guarantee their future, but at least it can provide them as a sanctuary, ladies and gentlemen. It can provide them as like a peaceful place to protect them from the harsh society that is, so at least they'll be safe with their own kinds, with their own races. And this is because also the second reason for that is because so at least they can gather with people around them, like people around them that are the same, let's say, ethnicity, or who have the same conditions as them. Because over here we're highlighting that we're talking about immigrants, ladies and gentlemen. So they don't natively come from there, but they come from another place. So that's why this ethnic enclave can provide like this sense of family, like gathering with a certain ethnicity. And so it's also to keep them safe. And because of this harsh society, it can also make them get protected by their own kinds, ladies and gentlemen, to avoid them from the oppression and from harassments from the majority of races, like for example the whites, let's say. Okay, so my third argument is I'm going to explain more about why these ethnic enclaves can be a good thing to prepare them for the future, getting out of the ethnic enclaves. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. These ethnic enclaves, like I said before, it's like a sanctuary. So at least it can be like a place for education for these kids and children. So that's why it could prepare them mentally and physically for the world outside, because like I said countless of times before, that the world outside is a harsh place. And like it or not, there will be at least some people who we encounter are racist and things like that. So that is why we want to protect, we want to make sure that our children are ready, because the fact is, ethnic enclaves, even though it protects our children for the time being, but we can't guarantee like the good jobs will be provided in these ethnic enclaves. And like we can't also guarantee that that our daily needs can be fulfilled for like the whole livestock, for example, in these ethnic enclaves. Like one way or another, we need to go out, and these ethnic enclaves, at least it can prepare the children, like especially if we're the parent of color, like to prepare their mentality so that they're ready and they know how to face like these racist individuals, for example, and can prepare them for the like the harassments and brutalities to come. Because ladies and gentlemen, the fact is, racism, even though there are lots of anti-racism protests and things like that, it is still a very common thing that happens in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Like for example, like I said before, like police brutalities towards minorities and Islamophobia. Like innocents, ladies and gentlemen, are getting harassed and they're getting attacked just because they're different than the majorities. And is it right that they didn't do anything and they're getting harassed for this, ladies and gentlemen? So that is why us as the government side of the house, we fully support the ethnic enclaves. So at least we want to maintain the well-being of our children and prepare them for the future, because minorities are still human beings and we deserve to be treated like human beings. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen.